Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is the new M5 MacBook Air for 2026. It starts at $1,099, goes up to $2,899, and it's up $100 year over year to start, but now starts with 512 gigabytes of storage instead of 256. It also starts with 16 gigabytes of RAM, goes up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, and you can get up to 4 terabytes of storage. It comes in sky blue, silver, starlight, and midnight that we have here. You can also get it in 13 and 15-inch variants. Now you can see here it's the M5 chip, has 24 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage. It's basically the biggest configuration you can get at an Apple store without a custom order. So this is $1,499. Let's go ahead and open it up and see what it's like. There we go. We'll flip it back over here and let's open it up. So here we have the MacBook itself, nothing that says Air or Hello like the MacBook Neo. And then of course in the box, we've got our typical literature or paperwork. So you've got a MacBook Air quick start guide, and this one is not color matched like the MacBook Neo. I would love to see that attention to detail in future versions. So in the box, we've got a power adapter here. Let's see what we've got here. We'll just undo it. And this is a 40-watt power adapter. So you'll see that here, up to 60 watts. So it's the new variable version, although technically plugs are variable anyway, based on their need. But let's go ahead and take a look at the cable. And we have a MagSafe adapter here that's color coordinated to the midnight color. So USB-C to MagSafe. However, I never use these. I just use USB-C. Let's place this back in the box, close up the box, and take a closer look at the MacBook itself. So let's go ahead and take the wrapper off the MacBook. And there we go. So again, this is the midnight color, as you can see here. And they're, again, not matching the feet color here like they do on the MacBook Neo. So just a small change that we're seeing year over year. So again, the midnight color looks really nice. It seems like it's fairly dark. And if we compare it to last year's model, so with the M4 MacBook Air, they're exactly the same as far as the overall size, same thinness and everything. However, the new M5 variant is slightly lighter at 1.23 kilograms compared to 1.24 kilograms. So that's basically the same, but it is technically slightly lighter. Now let's go ahead and open it up. After we take a look at the ports here, nothing's changed here on the side. We've got MagSafe with 2 USB ports or Thunderbolt 4, and let's go ahead and open it up. So we'll open it up like this. It should turn on. There we go. And it will boot up for the first time. Now, before we set it up, the internal CPU in this one is the faster one with a 10-core CPU with 4 super cores and 6 efficiency cores, and a 10-core GPU with neural accelerators. It has hardware-accelerated ray tracing like last year, and also faster memory bandwidth at a 153 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth compared to 120 of last year. So let's go ahead and get this set up. So unlike on the MacBook Neo, I have no choice but to update this. It would not give me the option to bypass it and update it later, so it's going to update to 26.3.1, so it looks like there's no way around it. It rebooted after installing the update. Let's go ahead and click Get Started. So you'll see now we're at the home screen here. Let's get rid of some of the widgets I don't want. I don't really use these. And maybe we'll move that one over there. If we go into our options here under System Settings and maybe go to General and then About, you'll see the version is now macOS Tahoe 26.3.1, build number 25D2128. So again, it forced me to this update. There was no way around it that I could find anyway. I tried multiple setup options as well. If we go down to Appearance, there isn't anything specific for this Mac like the MacBook Neo. And if we go to Wallpaper here, scroll down, let's see what we've got here. And we do have the new ones for the MacBook Neo under Pictures. So you can see those here. So we have some of the new ones. If I wanted to use those, they're available here. So I'm not sure why they put them here, but at least we have those along with some of the other ones as well. But no new wallpapers specific to the MacBook Air, it seems. Now, if we go under Battery, we'll go to Low Power Mode. We have only on battery or only on power adapter. I don't see any high power modes, and I wouldn't expect that on the Air as well. Now, I just ran initial benchmarks between the M4 and the M5, and you can see the difference is fairly significant with multi-core, 16,804 compared to 12,287. Single core is also higher at 4,105 compared to 3,512. So pretty big jump up when it comes to that. Now, before we take a look at the next test, I wanted to show you the keyboard as it's slightly different. The keys themselves are the same as the previous generation, but we now have some symbols here. So where tab is, instead of saying tab, it's a right arrow. We also have an up arrow for caps lock as well as shift, slightly different though. And then over on the right-hand side for enter, of course, we have another arrow and then shift here as well. In backspace, instead of delete, you now have another symbol as well. So they've sort of switched to a symbol. I don't know if this is more just to make it universal across everything, cheaper to print, or something else. Now, of course, the keyboard is backlit, just like last year. So if we go ahead and turn the lights off, you'll see that the keyboard lights come on. It looks great. You can still use some of the light from the screen to see it as well. But again, it is backlit. So if you want to use that, it's available. Turn the lights on and they shut off on their own. Next, we'll take a look at disk speed test. We have a 512GB model here on the left with the M4 and 1TB on the right. We'll just go ahead and click start. And let's see what we've got. So it looks like it's noticeably faster on the M5 MacBook Air. And we'll just stop it there so we can take a look. So we have write speeds of 6,468 megabytes per second on the M5 with read speeds at 6,747. On the M4, 4,160 compared to 2,979 for read speeds, significantly faster on the M5. Now let's go ahead and close out of this, and let's take a look at Final Cut Pro, as Apple is actually sharing this on their website as a video sort of content creation machine. You don't really see it as much with the MacBook Pro, so let's go ahead and see how quickly it can export compared to other devices I've shared before. I finished exporting the video and it completed in just 5 minutes and 38 seconds. Now compared to last year's M4, that completed it in 6 minutes and 48 seconds, and the fastest is the Mac Studio M1 Ultra in just 2 minutes and 24 seconds. I didn't see export segmentation here on this device, however it was strangely on the MacBook Neo, but that took over 10 minutes to export. So this is pretty fast, just not as fast as a MacBook Pro, for example, almost double the amount of time. And to take a look at the heat signature, you can see where it is there. That's basically where the processor is. And it is a little bit warm, but nothing too hot to touch or anything. About 42 degrees Celsius or so. So not super warm, but definitely a little bit warmer than normal temperature just using it. But underneath as well, it's a little bit warm, nothing too hot. So nothing to be concerned about there, even though it doesn't have a fan. Now, I used Geekbench AI to run AI tests across the CPU, GPU, and neural engine, and the most impressive was on the GPU, where we have more than double the score of the M4 to the M5. So you'll see for single core 13,492 compared to 10,818, and then the quantized score again is more than double at 25,576. The same is true with the half precision score. So very impressive there, and overall much faster when it comes to that specifically. Now, when it comes to anything else, when it comes to the ports on this device, you can run Apple's new Studio Display XDR. So out of the Thunderbolt 4 ports, 8K at 60 Hz, 5K at 120 Hz, or 4K at 240 Hz. So that's one display or two displays up to 6K at 60 Hz or 4K at 144 Hz, all off of this MacBook Air. So you do have that capability. Also internally, we do have Apple's N1 modem this time around with Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6 along with Thread networking technology. So that's pretty much everything that's been upgraded and what it's capable of. Of course, there's lots of other things you could do with the MacBook Air, whether you're using Pixelmator, editing video, maybe using Logic Pro. It seems to handle it no problem. Of course, you'll get better performance if we had fans here with the M5 with the MacBook Pro, and I'll be checking out the MacBook Pro a little bit later with the M5 Max in it. Let me know what you think of the new M5 MacBook Air in the comments below, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.